All right, so let's go to print A4 sheets and let's go ahead and click create. All right, so here we are. Let's add a gradient fill right there and click the first one, then choose the bottom color. We're gonna take white, and the top we're gonna take red. All right, let me go ahead and paste this color. That's it. Now let me click OK from there and drag it down like that somewhere here. It's okay. Now let's rasterize the gradient, then go to filter, noise, then add noise. Okay, so now add a percentage of 39. Now let's add a curves adjustment layer on top. Let's drag it down. Okay, so after that, let's go ahead and grab the brush tool, make sure foreground black, lower the flow, then start brightening up from the bottom to the middle portion of the top, just like I'm doing. So when you are done, just go and bring in this crag texture, link in the description. All right, so let's size it up. All right, then change the blend mode to soft light. Then let's add a layer mask, then take the brush and brush the lower part off. All right, so let's bring in the United logo. Let's place it there. Now let's change the blend mode to soft light. All right, so that's good. Now let me tweak the brightness of the curves adjustment layer a bit. All right, so just like that. It's okay. Okay, so let's add a new gradient on top. This time we're going for radial, so just pick the first one, then come back and change it to radial, then reverse it. All right, then change the blend mode to hard light, then go ahead and tweak the opacity. Then after that, we drag in the image of Rashford, then let's resize it, position it right here. Okay, let me add a layer mask, then brush the hard edges out. And always don't forget to control the amount of flow anytime you're brushing, just like that. Let me clear this area off. Okay, now let's create a new layer below Rashford's image and change the blend mode to linear dodge add. Then grab your brush, a soft round brush, then sample a yellowish color. I'm not giving you any code, sample your own. Then increase the flow, then add a glow light. If it's too harsh, go ahead and lower the opacity, tweak the flow, just like I'm doing right here, to get a smooth glow light. All right, so when you're done, just drag in this image. All right, so let's right click and flip horizontal and resize it. Now the color of this image actually looks pale, so let's go to filter, camera raw, then let's scroll down and increase the saturation. All right, so it actually looks brighter right now. Okay, so all right, so let me adjust the position and size of it. So now let's add a layer mask, then brush this tiny portion off. Then after that, let's bring in this image to, as you can see, it also looks pale, so let's go to filter, camera raw, and increase the saturation. Okay, so it's looking great. Now let me add the layer mask and then brush the tiny portion off. All right, so after this, let's bring in the fourth image right here. All right, it's already vibrant, so there will be no vibrance effect applied. Okay, let me adjust the positions well. All right, so now let's create a new layer on top of the bigger pictures layer. and add some shadows. Grab the brush tool, then make sure foreground color is black, and add some fancy shadows at the back, just like that. Then after this, go ahead and click the middle image, and below its layer create a new layer, then create small amounts of shadows at the edges of the arms and the shoulders. Not too much, just small. You shouldn't show too much, it's just small shadows. And we are doing this because we don't want the four images to appear flat, right? It just have to be like 3D, you know, this one is behind this this one is behind the other. All right. Now let's create a new layer on top of that shadow, and let's add shadows behind the image at the left, and let's go ahead and tweak the amount of flow. And we are creating a new layer for every shadows that we do for each picture, because if you put them together it might be difficult if you want to change something or move them a little bit left, right. So we just create a new layer so that it will be easy to apply any changes that you want or tweak opacities and stuffs. That's why you're creating a new layer for every image. Okay, so they are looking great. Now let's go ahead and grab the text tool, then type Matchday. Now let's resize that, then go ahead and change the font color. Yeah, then we also change the font style. And don't worry, any font that I'm using right here, as usual, the link to that will be in the description, so check them out, and kindly subscribe to my channel. All right, now I don't like this font, so let's change it again. All right, now let's increase the size and place it there. Now let's go ahead and duplicate this text, then turn off the bottom layer, then the top one, let's go to blending options, take away the fill. All right, so drag it down and add stroke, then add a small amount of stroke like that. Okay, click OK. Now duplicate the image in the middle, and then bring the duplicate on top of the text turned off, turn it back on, then right click on the image, then clip it into that text. Now rasterize the image that you didn't clip, which is this one, the bottom one, and grab your rectangular marquee tool, then drag over the area which is extending outside the text, then press delete on the keyboard to take it away, then press Ctrl D to deselect. Now let's bring in this image of the stadium, then drag it down. Okay, now let's send it to the back of the three images. All right, then add layer mask, then brush the top part off to blend with the background, just like that. Okay, so the field is too green and it's contrasting with the background and the rest of the colors, so let's try and blend it. So let's change the blend mode to overlay. All right, so that's looking great. Now let's start bringing the logos. So the first one is the Man U logo. Let me drag that in and place it at the bottom left. All right, now after this, let's bring the other logo. Make sure they are similar in size and place it at the right. Okay, now let me position that. Okay, let me bring the layer down. All right, so there we have it. Now the next thing that we need to do is add shadows below each, so that both of them will look like floating on the field. All right, so grab your ellipse tool, then make an oval shape, Then after that, click the mask icon over there, then increase the feather, then tweak the opacity if the shadow is too sharp. So go ahead and tweak the size of the shadow, then the opacity too. Then after that, you just duplicate and send one to the other logo, and then you position it well. Then after that, you just tweak the opacity. Okay, so I think this is okay. Then select one, then go to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur, then choose rasterize, and then add some blur amount. Then you do the same thing for the other shadow. Okay, so now we need to cast shadow of the Matchday text onto the field. All right, so what you're going to do is we are going to duplicate the text with the fill. That's the one at the back. We are going to duplicate that, and then this one, that's okay. So we are going to right click, then choose rasterize type. Now press Ctrl T, then right click, then choose flip vertical, then drag it below. All right, now right click again, then select perspective. Now select or click one of the nodes at the edges, then drag it out just like I'm doing. Now we need to drag it out until the text becomes parallel with the deep green and light green lines on the pack. So if you leave it like this, it will, as you can see, it looks like sloping down. So we just need to drag it out until they are in parallel phase. And now as you can see, it's looking flat. All right, so this is looking great. All right, I like this. Now let's turn it down, then drag its layer below so that it will come under the logos. So let's drag the layer down below the two logos and their shadows. Okay, so there we have it. Now let's double tap the layer, then go to blending options, then select color overlay, then choose black for the color overlay. Okay, so there we have it. Now let's turn down the opacity a bit. Let's bring it down, not a bit. Then let's go to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur, then add some blur amount. Okay, and let's increase the opacity a bit. Then let's add the layer mask, and then grab your brush, make sure foreground black, you have a soft, or you lower the flow, then start brushing to fade the shadow. All right, so as you can see, the edges are sharp, so you just need to fade it out. So if you've made it so far to this part and you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, click post notification, like this video. Now let's see the before and after. Okay, so let me go ahead and drag in this calendar icon and then place it somewhere down here. Okay, then let's go to blending options, then choose white for its color overlay. All right, so let's click color overlay and then choose white. All right, now from here it's just left with few things that we'll be adding. That's the time, the date, and the names of the teams down there, and we are just good to go. So from here I will just speed things up, and if you have gotten to this far and you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. And the link to the resources that I use in this video will be in the description, so kindly check it out and go to my Telegram channel, kindly join the channel, and then grab your resources, then you're good to go. So after the info, we just need to add the name of the player we featured in this match day poster. All right, and anytime you make a match day flyer, then you feature only a single player you have to add the name of the player you featured. And if it were to be multiple players in the same team, that one would have been different. So we are going to add the name, that's Rashford, and then we blend it with the background. Okay, so there we have it. So I'm going to change the font. Then rotate 90 and place it here. Okay, I don't like this font, so I'll go ahead and change it. So let's send the layer to the back somewhere below the grunge texture. Now let me change the font again. Now let me increase the size. Let me change the color to a little dark red. Let me change the blend mode to screen, and then duplicate one to the right. Then after this, I'll just paste small details, just like this thing right here. And these are just X that I've duplicated and merged them together. Let me add this one too. And these are triangles. So you can just be placing tiny shapes at certain spots, and it's all add up to the poster. All right, so right here I'll just be duplicating some of them and sending them to different places, just like this. Now let me add some triangles just using the stroke, and let me blend them with the background. Okay, so let me go ahead and change the blend mode to overlay and place it somewhere right here. Now the next thing is just duplicate about 3-4 and place them at different places. Okay, so there we have it, guys. A beautiful match day flyer that you can try it out using your favorite teams or your favorite players, and or a single player just like this. So thanks for watching. My name is Oponchicheku. This is Good Graphics. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'm out. Peace.